The years, AAA companies have grown more and more of a ego through all of their games that they've been playing. From telling people they don't own the games that they buy, to basically telling people that they're too broke if they can't afford their games, and now they're even going as far as stealing art and trying to get away with it. And if you don't know what I am talking about, a while back, Bungie started talking about this game called Marathon. This is a developed game by Bungie that is a first person shooter that looks fairly unique in all different ways. The art style has this kind of blocky robotic style. It's kind of the cyberpunk meets the new gen, and it's fairly clean, as I would say. But the issue that comes with this game is Bungie stole a lot of art for the game. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So Bungie is stealing art. Well, let's get into the article. Bungie stealing Marathon art is probably the last straw. Marathon developer Bungie has been accused and has now admitted stealing artwork used in a current build of Marathon from an artist who first published the work in 2017. And that's probably why they thought, wow, we can just get away with this. Because who knows this person that posted this in 2017? But you know who does know? Her fans and herself. She knows her art, which is a big W. Now, the artist is AntiReal, who posted several comparisons of her work and existing Bungie Marathon assets, which go far beyond inspiration and often direct one-on-one lifts of images, words, symbols, and even AntiReal's own personal logo. One of her statements: Bungie is of course not obligated to hire me when making a game that draws overwhelmingly from the same design language I have refined for the last decade, but clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all over their game without pay or attribution, which is just facts. So this is what the first image is. This is the image that is in the game, this green one, and as we see here, it looks basically the exact same one for one as AntiReals, but the difference is obviously they blurred out her name. And what's crazy about this, that a lot of people I haven't seen talking about going into this, is you can kind of see that they blurred out the text that she had here. So whoever ripped this blatantly took this, changed the color, and then was so lazy they didn't even get rid of the wording because it's still there. It's just very, very light in color. We'll go full screen. Maybe you guys can see it a little bit better. You can just barely see the dark smudges. That is absolutely crazy. And sometimes devs can just steal one image, and maybe it's not that big of a deal. You can say it's inspiration, even if it's just a one on one, but it goes even deeper than that. If we go down a little bit, their HUDs, their UIs, their simple art in the game is plastered all over the game and all of the game's products, and it is just a straight rip from Anti-Real. And it is just so crazy. And she says this, or this is part of the article: there's no disputing the assets rips. They are one in one in many cases that are clear to see. The result of that, if Bungie will simply cut the artist a check and credit them, is unclear. It is possible that legal action could be pursued here, but the artist did not seem to think they had a resource to amount the campaign. That could change given the attention that this story has now gotten. See, I do kind of believe that as well, and that is something that just sucks for the artist, is going up against a AAA company like this. Unless you have a lot of money, it's going to be very difficult, because if they really try, they can just drag this through the courts forever. And yeah, does it slander their name a little bit, but the diehard fans of Bungie are still going to play their games. But that's the thing that just makes me so sick to my stomach, for me personally, when I saw this article. And it might even be old, but it's just crazy to me that they are basically going to get away with this unless us as a community outright basically go, yeah, we are not playing this game. we are not doing anything until you make this right. And that's just so disgusting from a company. And if we zoom down here, this is the one that actually really shows it the best, in my opinion. Is so this is her artwork, and it is something directly that she has. It says LF, and it has like these symbols, and you can kind of see how like the barcodes and everything work around. And they slapped this on so many things throughout the game. You know what this means? This probably means one of two things. Either the art team needs to be severely faulted at Bungie, or all of Bungie needs to be severely faulted because there's someone in the wrong. Now, it could be everybody at Bungie, 100% it could, but I would really say it really comes down to whoever the head is of this project. Whoever the head is should be looking at this stuff and being like, wow, is this a ripoff or is it not? And the people that work under him as well, the art team, and whoever approved this art should be fired from Bungie. I'm just going to be straight up. It is so unbelievably disgusting. And obviously, like I said before, it's not everybody's at Bungie's fault. There's people that probably have never even seen the art for the game, and I don't want those people to just lose their jobs. You know, maybe it's like a coder and he's never seen the art for the game. I don't want him to just lose his job because someone messed up on the art. But the people who blatantly ripped it off and the people who approved it should be completely removed from the team because this is just gross. So, so gross. I believe it is too early to start naming and blaming specific individuals within Bungie. That's true. But the studio will need to do an intense investigation into this and come out with a lengthy explanation in addition to terms they've come up to with the artist publicly, and they may promise this will not happen in the future, but it has now happened 4 times in the past 4 years. The others will, with Destiny fans art that was lifted in some capacity for the game or in merchandise that was third-party contractors. However, this is Bungie in-house or former in-house or whatever you need to believe. And that's where this really comes down to. If it goes deeper and more into the nitty-gritty behind Bungie in itself, every single person behind this should be faulted and should be sued by like these artists and everything. It just sucks because in reality, they do not have the funds to do this. And honestly, make sure you go show anti-real support if you are a fan of her art because she deserved it. Like 100% she does. Overall, I really just think we should start holding companies accountable, whether that's Bungie or the people who make Borderlands or Ubisoft, for these absolutely gross takes on how things happen in games, whether that's stealing art, telling people they don't own the game, or maybe even saying that they're too broke if they can't afford the game. It's just so weird. It is so unbelievably weird. And I just kind of imagine Bungie kind of going over and going, ha 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 ha, nobody's gonna find out, ha 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 ha. But we did. We did find out, or I didn't, but someone else found out, and now I'm talking about it on here. And I just feel so bad for the artist because obviously I think it's cool to like have your stuff in a game, but having it just ripped with like no context or anything like that is absolutely crazy. Especially a company that claims that they're triple A. Imagine being a triple A company, which basically just means that you have a lot of money to put on a game. That's all triple A means. And what you do is you blatantly rip stuff off instead of just hiring artists to make your game look really well. Like, how ridiculous does that have to be? I could go on Fiverr right now. I can go on Twitter and I could find thousands of artists that make amazing art and they could easily hire like one or two of them and make this just look absolutely insane. Or even the artist here, right? This is clearly the artist they wanted to use was AntiReal. So it's like, why not just be like, yo, we want to use your stuff throughout our entire game. If we give you like 5 to 10 grand, are we chilling and we can like just use your art? I feel like it is so unbelievably simple. And once again, this kind of goes back to our Borderlands 4 video where why aren't these companies like trained to not steal products or to like call people poor? Like, I just don't understand these companies. Triple A companies have grown the biggest egos in existence and have just started to tank their sales. I know so many people who will no longer buy Ubisoft games. I know so many people who will no longer like buy the Borderlands games. I know so many people now, right, that don't buy Bungie games. They're like, this is just so crazy to me. But at the end of the day, I hope the artist gets their recognition and gets their money out of their art that came from the game. And that's really all we can hope for at the end of the day when it comes to this. And hopefully, these companies will eventually learn. Besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed. I really just wanted to rant about AA companies and how they think they can just scam people today. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on AAA companies having the biggest ego in the entire universe. Besides that, I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful night. Peace.